Well, hello, and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast for all the crap we love to talk about on ye old bros. Welcome to the Valley Day, everybody. I'm Ronnie, that's Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Good. Welcome to your show. You're almost in Norway. You've got two more shows till you've got a week in Norway.
Yeah, people may not know this because I haven't really even talked about it on the main show. I just have talked about it on other shows, I feel like. But yeah, I am going on holiday to Norway tomorrow after our summer house recap. Once we're done doing summer house. So yeah, I'm off to Norway for a week, and it's gonna be a fun, wild time.
And it's also going to be a fun, wild time here at Watch What Crappens because we've got celebrity guest hosts coming up. Next week, we're going to have, let's see here. We've got Kempire, Amy Phillips, Ryan Bailey, Laura Shanehalls from SUP, Page Six, Danny Pellegrino. We've got a lot of people coming to Crappens, a lot of friends of the show coming to hang out with me while Ben is gone. So be here next week to check that out. Our 3-part road trip is now on Patreon. It's a really fun video road trip in Texas Ben and I took. And starting in June, we will be covering Love Island on Patreon exclusively. So join us for that. Also, we have 2 final live shows. We've got Seattle on June 12th, and on June 19th, we've got Los Angeles. So go get your tickets at watchwhatcrappens.com for that. Okay. Lots of fun stuff coming down the pike.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And you have such a fun week ahead of you with all those wonderful guests. I love them all, and they're all so funny. It's gonna be a stacked lineup of shows.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. So I'm very excited for that. You know, Bravo's announcing some shows they're putting out this summer. I'm getting a little worried. There's something like The Beans of Beansville. What is that Western show that's on there?
Some cowboy show, like the McBees.
Like the McCoys and the Beans. What the fuck is that?
You know what? Well, you know what's really mortifying? So Bravo also has a show coming out this July called King's Court, which I think is I have to assume it's a spinoff of Queen's Court. And so among other people that are on it is Tyson Beckford. And I say this all because People Magazine had a like, I think it's like their hottest issue or whatever, like hottest guys or hottest people in the world. So they did this spread of like the hottest guys of Bravo. And it was like Tyson Beckford, because now he's a Bravo guy. So Tyson Beckford, but then it's like Carl and Shep and Tom Schwartz and Fraser from Below Deck. And I was like, Tyson Beckford does not deserve this. This is an iconic male model, arguably the most famous and influential male model ever. He's gorgeous. This is a man who's been gorgeous for decades and decades, and he is being put on the same platform as Shep and Carl. No, this is so not right. Justice for Tyson Beckford. Put him in a different picture at the very least. Don't lump him in there with Shep. That's so rude. It's so wrong. We don't treat our icons like that.
But in what world? Why would you even have an article? Like, honestly, why would you even do that? Who in the editorial room was like, Shep, you know, let's pick the hottest guys on Bravo, Shep and Carl. In what fucking world? According to who? Like, who's the poll for this?
I mean, it's up on People. I feel so bad because People Magazine reached out and was like, do you guys want to cover this? And
no.
Jesse Solomon.
We just did.
Jesse Solomon and Tom Schwartz are also in this group. No, you know, so also I just want.
Is that what we have on Bravo? I guess thinking about it, I'm trying to think of how to, like, you know, like
Jesse's cute. Yeah, I mean, Jesse's cute. I mean, I wouldn't like, I don't know. I mean, Fraser's hot, but I just feel like the Shep of it all, the Shep and the Carl of it all, I just feel like we could do better.
Well, I think all handsome people. It's not like we're saying they're photos or anything. It's just like if you're going to have a hottest of people, like how do you go from Hugh Jackman one year to like Shep the next? You can't do that. You know, let's have some pride.
Yeah, I just when you scroll through the actual pictures in their slideshow, and you see there's like this video of Carl and he's like wet and his hair is matted down and his shirt is just like flopped up on his skin, and I'm just like, don't put this man on the same spread as Tyson Beckford. I'm sorry, it just does not work that way. There are better options. I'm sorry.
Don't put soft right next to hard. You know.
Thank you. That's what it all comes down to.
Well, here we are with an episode of The Valley. This is called Behind Closed Pantry Doors, season 2, episode 6. And Janet is back to Janet form. Fanet is back, being a fucking idiot. I can't believe I had one episode where I was like, is Janet just is she going to be like okay this season? No. Janet sucks. So it was nice because, I don't like feeling insecure in my dislike. Whenever I dislike somebody and then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that person changed it. I wouldn't say maybe I was wrong because I don't think I was wrong, but like maybe I need to think about this a little further. I don't like that. I like being very secure in my dislike. And so it's back. So I feel great.
Did you see that there was like a minor post-production controversy with this episode of The Valley?
Yes. Tell the
Well, basically, there was a preview of this episode, and Janet was saying how like she went to Al-Anon with her ex regarding her ex because she was talking in her confessional about how, like the situation reminded me of her ex who had a drinking problem and substance problem, and how Janet said that she went to Al-Anon. And I don't know, did she say that Nia went to Al-Anon?
She said she heard that Nia was going to Al-Anon.
She said, right. She heard, that's what she said she heard. That was in the preview that was on the internets, but in the actual episode that aired in the US, but apparently not on Hey You, they edited that part out, and Janet just talked about how it reminded her of her ex. So they edited out the Al-Anon thing. So people
they edited it out, but Andy still asked about it on Watch What Happens Live, and then they had to edit the Watch What Happens Live. So people who were watching it live saw that, but then people who saw the edited version later, they had edited it out to protect, I guess, Janet or protect themselves from lawsuits or whatever. Because, maybe Al-Anon is supposed to be Anon. Anon's in the name.
Yeah. And so, Janet saying, well, I'm glad we're perpetuating the non-Anon part of it by being like, I heard that Janet said that Nia went to Al-Anon.
But it was out there. So it's not like we heard it somewhere. It was on the television. So it's just it's Bravo trying to control the narrative too late as usual, So
way too late.
Totally missing the mark. Not only in the show, but also on Watch What Happens Live. So good job, guys. Someone's getting fired over there. But just keep it in. Don't protect her. If she's saying that stuff on national TV and you already aired it in the previews, just I don't know. Whatever.
It's out. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. So there you go. So she's going to Al-Anon. Ooh, the thing that's annoying to me is that people on this show are so fucking ridiculous about alcohol consumption when you guys have been kissing Jax's ass for decades now. How long? It took until this. And Brittany, the one who's drinking herself into ulcers and still drinking and leaving piles of vomit in the driveway, is going to come in and make an alcoholic storyline about someone else. Like, girl. And then when you came for Jax about his coke and alcohol, you admitted that you also do coke. So and listen, I'm not against coke and alcohol. I say take the medicine you need, but don't be coming after everybody else and trying to make everybody else into an alcoholism storyline. And Janet with her, everybody else has shared. What do you share, Janet? You got pregnant.
Yeah. I think that Nia and first of all, I think that Danny, I don't know whether or not he's an alcoholic. I think that maybe he does need to start thinking about how he is consuming his booze though. He might need to start he's had a few coming in and being like, gotta catch up. It's like, well, you're not 25 anymore. No one does that, right? When you're older, right? You don't have to do that. Just drink, right? So I do think that maybe, his relationship with alcohol may need to be revised. Doesn't mean he's an alcoholic, but it might be time to say, hey, you need to think about how you're drinking, I also think that Nia and Danny do have a right to handle a situation, something like that, how they want to handle it. And I think sort of the reality TV viewer in me says, put everything out there. You're on a reality show. You should expect to have everything out there. The realist in me says when you're in a relationship, you're allowed to want to handle certain things in closed doors, and you don't owe it to put it out with this group of not leeches, just venomous people, just because Brittany did it. You don't have to do it because just because Brittany, you have an open sore of a relationship with Jax doesn't mean everyone else has to have it. So that's where I stand on those people. I actually feel with Jasmine, I'm more compassionate, and here is why. because she obviously had a bad incident with Danny. And I was trying to think about why am I compassionate with Jasmine? And I think the reason why is Danny comes to this vineyard. He starts pounding these drinks. He's getting wasted. And I was thinking in her mind, she's saying, oh shit, now I have to be on guard again. And that sucks. Because people have experienced that to much lesser degrees. When you've got that sloppy friend and you're having a fun time at the party, and then you see that your friend is getting really sloppy, and then you sort of just know, shit, I'm going to have to take care of my friend tonight. And then you just can't really have fun anymore. You're like, I can't.
That's really enough about me.
I have to say, to your credit, you've never been that way. To your credit, I've never found you to be that sloppy friend. Like you back in the day, you would put down those drinks, but you were not sloppy. But I've had sloppy friends, and you just know it. And even in just that small degree, that feeling when you say to yourself, I want to keep partying, I want to keep having fun, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about my friend.
Yes.
And I think in her mind, she's probably thinking, I want to have fun on this group trip, but now Danny's getting wasted, and I don't know if I'm going to have to be in a situation where I'm going to have to tell him to stop, or I'm going to have to be the bad guy again. And so I fully really empathize with her.
I absolutely hear what you're saying on that, but here's why I don't feel compassion in this argument for her.
Okay.
Because he was asleep. He went to bed. So he drank and he went to bed, and she's still starting shit and going on and on with Brittany.
Well, at that point,
and it's like, the guy's in bed and you actually want him to get up to do whatever behavior when the guy's already in bed. So as far as Danny and his behavior with Jasmine and the grabbing Jasmine and all of that stuff, that's bullshit. I'm never going to stand up for Danny for that. And I don't blame her. If she wants to bring that up every day for the rest of this series, I don't care. I will not be like, don't bring that up. She has every right to. But as far as the drinking and this whole thing, I mean, I think even they knew, as we see in the episode, they knew that they went too far with that. And what was so funny about it was that they have to have this whole party and apologize to Nia because they were going so hard at Nia accusing her husband because they were too drunk. And that's where I'm like, fuck you guys. You're so wasted that you act like idiots on TV, and then you have to have a party where you apologize to somebody because you were too wasted while you're still trying to accuse her husband of being an alcoholic. Come on,
that's a very funny
you
point.
Fucking hypocrites.
Let me revise mine to say I'm compassionate as to why Jasmine was sort of sent into a tizzy. And I don't know if the actual form of the tizzy I necessarily agree with, but I understand.
I don't support the form of the tizzy, but
I understand why she was put into a state where she was getting agitated, and then she just sort of blows up. And then everything after that about he has to be open. Why are you trying to cover up? Yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to, by the way, I have to be realistic. I'm not going to act like if I were sitting there and Nia's just like, oh, he's just tired. I myself might be like, yeah, but he's drunk too. Why are you acting like he's not drunk too? I just don't know if I would be screaming and yelling at Nia about it. I'd probably be laughing off to the side, why is she trying to say that he's just tired? He's wasted off his ass, I don't
know. There's just a bunch of drunk hypocrites to me. There's nothing fucking worse.
And that is, I believe, the mission statement for Bravo.
Well, that's
a bunch of drunk hypocrites.
You're on Bravo. You're on a show built on getting wasted and acting stupid. It's like if everybody on Summer House was like, "Oh my God, Kyle was wasted last night and ate muffins. I think we need to talk to Kyle about his alcohol problem." Okay, does Kyle have an alcohol problem? Probably. I mean, duh. But is this the forum to be discussed? Are you the people that need to be coming at him? You can't be confronting everyone else when you're actually also an alcoholic.
I also do feel like there was a piece of information that came out this episode, which I think changes things a little bit for me, which is that last episode, it was presented that Danny snuck into this cupboard and Janet happened to be there, and he was hiding these shots of tequila. And then this episode, we find out he's like, yeah, I went into he's like, I told you I had the tequila. So it wasn't it wasn't a hidden thing.
Right. He told us.
And he's like, I went in there because that's what the tequila was. You didn't bring the tequila in. I mean, I can understand how it could
because the tequila was behind the door. So he was trying to get to the tequila. And Janet's like, I'm uncomfortable, which we all know is code for serious things. Like if a man puts you in a position where he's making you feel really uncomfortable and this and that, that's a real thing. But Janet's taking that terminology and trying to make it sound like she herself was assaulted in a way because she was in a closet where Danny hid and took tequila in front of her, which made her uncomfortable. Fuck off, Janet. Janet is the worst. And she went on Watch What Happens last night, and just the audience. I was so proud of the Bravo audience for just ripping that woman to shreds. I was like watching a scared Cabbage Patch doll get ripped limb from limb, a dark-eyed Cabbage Patch doll getting ripped limb from limb, and I loved it. The audience was like 90% against her on every question.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you are my people.
If she has had like firsthand experience with a boyfriend who was sneaking drinks in like the closet or whatever, like I can understand how like that's where her mind goes. But I can also like knowing that there may be a larger context to how he was actually consuming this tequila. It does change things a little bit for me.
Well, you've got Jesse, who's so wasted that he's yelling that his wife is a whore on national television and being verbally abusive. Who says anything to Jesse about his drinking? Nobody. You've got Brittany barfing in driveways, having all this behavior when she's got a young son at home. Do we see anybody talking to Brittany about her alcohol intake?
Jax.
Sure don't.
Jax.
Yeah, the biggest hypocrite on the show. Sure don't. But everybody's like, Brittany's the mother of the year, y'all. So whatever. I can't take this cast seriously. And then Jason on Watch What Happens Live was also there, and they said something, and I've watched this all in clips because I ain't sitting through half an hour of those two. But someone said something like, people online hate Janet. I'm assuming the question was along those lines. And Jason was like, oh, please. There's just like, there's millions of people who listen to this show who love Janet. And there's like maybe 40 people on Reddit who don't like her. Yeah. And 38 of those people on Reddit talking about your show are Janet, Jason. So please.
Wow.
Janet with different names. So anybody on Reddit knows it too. So whatever, you two. All right. Well, this has been a fun 20 minutes. Let's actually recap the show.
No, it really has been 20 minutes. Okay. So we pick up in the middle of this fight. It's always good to
have a show that fills me with some nice early morning rage. And so I'm thankful for that. I don't feel as dead inside when I'm angry. So
the show doesn't actually really fill me with that much rage, I have to say. It's weird. I sort of just watch it and I'm fascinated by it. I don't actually get I'm not sent to a place of rage by it. So, I think we as humans are going to respond to different things are going to make me enraged. Like I'll be more enraged by watching like Love Hotel and finding out that like the majority of people sitting at the dinner table did not put napkins in their lap. I'm like, I am furious at this show.
You'll get mad watching someone on this show order something with berries on it. You'll be like,
I will absolutely
disgusting, tasteless.
It's always some etiquette infraction that I'll be like, now I'm mad. But then it's like, oh, accusations of calling someone an alcoholic. Well, it's TV.
Yeah, I'm in.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
All right, so let's get to it. So we pick up where we left off with
the fight. They're fighting.
Exactly.
They're all drunk and fighting.
Oh, they're in the bedroom.
Hold on.
Brittany's having a drunken fit, and Janice. What is the girl's name? Jasmine is having a drunken fit about Nia not sharing things, and they're like yelling and getting themselves worked up over this. And Zach's just going, hold on. By the way, he just started most of this, but
yeah, he 100% started all of this. So Nia is like, well, what would you want me to do? And it's like, okay, hey, Brittany, think about the times that you've protected Jax when you shouldn't have. Remember when you did that? Okay, so she's allowed to protect her toxic man too. And Jasmine's like, it's not that, Zach. He's like, okay, hold on, stop. Banji says stop.
Stick Benji says stop, you guys. And Nia's like, I'm not protecting anybody, though. That's the thing. Like, who am I protecting? And they're like, oh, God, well, Brittany's life has been on display. Brittany has given it all for reality television. Look at her right now. Look at what she's done to her eyebrows. That's for television. You think she wants her eyebrows going from the middle of her face to the top of her head? No, she's done it all for you, audience. All for you.
And it's always on the max, to the max every time. And the one time that she's questioned anything that's been going on with you, you lose your mind. And Brittany's like, yeah, thank you for advocating. Thank you for advocating for me on this.
And Jasmine's like, oh, it gets shut down. Who shut it down? You two have been going off for 2 hours. And so, basically, Brittany's still screaming, I show my entire life, my entire clusterfuck of a life, which you've also contributed greatly to, I'd just like to add. And Nia's like, what is wrong with these people? You know, now she's getting hurt feelings. She's like, why are my friends speaking about me? And so Jason's like, well, you know, while he's, by the way, drinking 2 drinks. He's got 2 drinks in his hand for himself. He's like, yeah, you know, because tonight when you were asked about Daniel, you're like, he was sleeping, he's taking a nap, and everything's fine. He's tired. Instead of talking about him being an alcoholic, go. Like, maybe not do this with 2 drinks in your hand, Jason.
And she's like, well, no, he is exhausted. And yes, he was drunk. I mean, part of me wonders, by the way, if the reason why they're hammering Nia so much about this fake thing, maybe this is pent up because, you know, last season there were many times when things started to get a little like tense where she would be like, oh, I got a phone call. My sprinklers aren't working. I'm going to have to go. So maybe this has more to do with like a larger pattern with Nia where she sort of like is able, like when things happen, she kind of just like scoots on out of there, you know?
Well, it's also, you know, Nia's also still married because of that and has a happy relationship and is still making children. And the other ones are all bitter and divorced and having terrible divorces and like going through misery. So maybe you should actually watch and learn, people. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're like, why are you ruining your life like we've done? Like,
I know. Well, on the flip side, she is now, as a result of her still being married, she is now being forced to move to Santa Clarita. So, you know, it's really, you know, so many twists of fate here.
Listen, normally I would be with you, but seeing the apartment over and over again that they live in on this show, I'm like, go to Santa Clarita. You know what I mean?
Get out. Please. Get out. Please move anywhere.
Isn't Santa Clarita pretty? Wasn't there a Drew Barrymore show that took place there at the Santa Clarita Diet?
Yeah, it was about zombies in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, I found out that wasn't about a diet and I wouldn't watch it. I was like really looking forward to seeing Drew Barrymore in a show about a diet because, you know, I love diets. I've done all of them. I'm like, finally, a show about diets. And no.
Santa Clarita is where a child famously, I feel like, permanently messed up my finger by fist punching me too hard. And I will always associate that with Santa Clarita. Also, I have someone who I find very annoying in my life who lives up there too. So I just have bad associations with Santa Clarita.
I have a bad association with Santa Clarita too. Well, beyond the Drew Barrymore show not being about a diet. Another thing was I was missing a pair of AirPods once and I turned on my Find My and they were in Santa Clarita. And I was like, who the fuck do I know in Santa Clarita? Like, how did my AirPods get to Santa Clarita? It still bothers me to this day.
There, cut to a headline. The zombie apocalypse has broken out in Santa Clarita. Zombie Zero was found with some AirPods that said Rondell Karam on them.
Bueller for Life is inscribed on the AirPods. So Nia's like, well, okay, well, I was saying he was tired, but can 2 things be true? He was drunk and he was tired. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't drunk. And she asked Brittany, she's like, so you don't have moments where you've excused Jax or said whatever? And Brittany's like, well, of course I have. And so Jasmine's still doing on, you know, going on with it's not just the action. I'm very disappointed that I was disrespected. And, you know, those feelings don't go away. And she has to acknowledge what's going on here. Okay, then bring it up, Jasmine. Bring it up at the table and say your husband was grabbing my ass and my girlfriend's ass and making me call him daddy. And I don't feel right about that. And he was wasted. And I don't feel like that's been addressed. Then if she says, whatever, he was tired. Okay, then that's something you can go on about. But
yeah, I just can't believe all these emotionally evolved people were unable to handle this situation properly. I mean, it's just shocking. So then, of course, Daniel wakes up. Well, now they're all calling him Daniel because it's a formal, serious situation. And like Daniel's awake. So he comes in, he's like, far on the Forsen in Santa Clarita, zombie paradise.
And like, Sorry, guys. I just go over my lines while I'm sleeping. What's going on in here, y'all? And Zach just goes, no, Daniel. No, Daniel, no. Daniel, no. Daniel, go back to the tequila closet, Daniel. We're not ready for you right now, Daniel.
So Jasmine's like, well, you know what? Brittany's just saying it's not fair that she puts her life up at every fucking little dot to every fucking little tiptoe for another. I don't even know what she's saying here. She's like, every other box of Tic Tacs that she has on TikTok, every single ticky tacky talk is up on her life. Okay. And you guys don't do it.
Well, just don't hide things that's going on. That's all I'm asking. Don't hide things that's going on. That's all I want to know. So, Danny's like, who's hiding anything? Come on, what are y'all talking about here? And Mia's like, Daniel, we'll have a conversation. I'll explain everything, just not in here. Let's please do it somewhere away from these crazy people so we can hide it.
He's like, wait. Is she pointing at me? Am I in trouble here? And she's like, yes, it's you and me. Come on. We have a whole conversation. Go to the kitchen, the private place.
He's like, wow. Still going off in nonsensical sentences. She's like, her life has been on the line. Her life has been on the line with a fucking platter. Was she a caterer at one point? She's working the line. Let's get those past apps up on the platter. She's been a secretary and a waiter. She's like, someone has been on the line for a while. Get that fucking platter out, please.
No, I'm just going to... Okay, everyone, I'm just going to take a second and grab some water, but I love you. I hear you, and I understand you fucking bitches. So
her life has been on a platter. She's being slaughtered, and everyone else is tiptoeing around their lives. Brittany's like, no. Brittany just looks like confused and eyebrowed out. And so Mia takes Danny away. And she's like, so Danny's drinking an energy drink. And she's like, you don't need to have an energy drink. We have to go to bed. We have kids to wake up for in the morning. And he's like, it's not an energy drink. What are you talking about? It's straight up cocaine tequila I'm drinking. Hold on.
Call it zombie juice around the set. So Danny is like, so they go into their room and he's like, what's happening? And now she starts to like cry and she's like, do you know what I just experienced right now? I have no idea what's going on. I just need a second to breathe because like, I feel like there's like a lot of adrenaline in my body. Tell me about it. You ever had the zombie juice before? Whoa, I'm seeing babies on the ceiling.
So he's like, get it out, sweetie. Get it out. Just... get it out. So she's like, okay, well, they're accusing me of keeping secrets. And, I said that you just fell asleep, but they're mad that I didn't say you're drunk. And, but you are tired and you did wake up and you did have a full day, and you had too much to drink. And, no one asked me, did you have too much to drink? Because I would have said, yeah, you had too much to drink. She's just upset. So he's listening to this like, what the fuck kind of fight is this? And he's like, okay, but why do you keep saying I've had too much to drink? I had the same amount to drink as everyone else on this show. Like, I don't get it.
Plus, a few more swigs of tequila and a few more glasses of wine is pretty much the same amount. And she was like, no, you were feeling good. That's it. He's like, yeah, show is everybody. I'm like, yeah, but like, okay, I'm going to say this. I understand that he's tired and exhausted and he's allowed to drink and then pass out. We've all done it. We've all had friends who've done it, family members. It happens. It's okay. But also, like, if you know you woke up at like 5 a.m. and you're tired, like, why? And you're at like a party. Why are you pounding them down to the point where you're gonna pass out? Like, and this is not you're an alcoholic. This is why can't you be a better like functioning member of the social group? Because there's dinner. Why are you drinking? You're exhausted. Then I think we all know, like, oh my God, maybe I'm coming from a place of privilege because of how I'm able to have a relationship with alcohol. But in my mind, I'm like, if I feel myself like, whoa, this is hitting me really quickly, I sort of like naturally, I don't have to be like, I've got to have as much as everyone else. I think, whoa, I am at a place now where I am good. If I drink too much more, I'm going to pass out and miss dinner. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but I just don't care how much he drinks. Like, I really don't care. Unless he like gets drunk and does something to somebody. I mean, I get drunk and miss dinner. Like, I don't care. So like, to me, I just don't understand the fight when everybody's a drunk, But, Teach their own. So we go back to, this is the best part. Kristen, Luke, and Jesse are still just sitting outside, not going in. Like, where's everybody? Why don't they come back out? And Luke's just eating all the ice cream because nobody's there to eat it. So he's eating everybody's portion of the ice cream. And so then we go back to the fight. And Janet's like, okay, guys, before dinner, I got home and I walked into the pantry to make an Easy Mac cup, which, why is nobody giving her shit? That's disgusting, Janet. Okay? You've got a caterer here and you're sneaking into the closet to make an Easy Mac cup. Now who's got the problem? Okay.
And she goes, and Danny came in and shut the door behind. Okay. And we see the flashback of him be like, oh, well, you guys got a big head start from me. So we hear him like drinking and he was in the pantry. You know, he and I were in the pantry together and he was like looking around, making sure no one could see. And he'd take a full on swig of the Casamigos boggle. And I was like, oh, and then he passed out shortly after.
Well, call the fucking police, Janet. I can't believe that happened to you. Are you more mad about the tequila, or are you mad that George Clooney doesn't own the tequila anymore and it's not enough of a celebrity fucking tequila for you to swallow?
He doesn't own it anymore?
No, I think they sold it a long time ago for like $19 trillion.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. A variety of wows that took me to a patent place. So,
and Jasmine's like, well, we know he has a drinking problem. We get it. But like, just talk to us about it. I mean, just talk to us about it. If you can't talk to us about being alcoholics while we're drunk, who can you talk to? I mean, what's going on here? Why can't they just talk about it? You're drunk. Sit down. So Janet's like, I just feel so bad for her because, you know, defending your husband when they're doing shitty stuff or when your husband's wasted. I mean, that's not fun. That's just not fun.
It isn't fun, though. It isn't fun. Like that. I do think it's
not her relationship. And she never said anything. She never said much to Britt about it either. And that was way worse.
Yeah, well, way worse. I agree. So Janet is like, she's like, I've been with somebody in the past that has struggled with addiction issues, and I feel like I can relate to Nia in that sense. But the thing is, no one cares that Danny drank too much and slept through dinner, except for apparently one podcaster who felt like Danny should have been at dinner also because it was catered. But whatever.
And me, who's making a storyline saying over and over that he's a fucking alcoholic, which I'm doing right now in this sentence.
It's the denial and the hiding that feels inauthentic and fake. And let just say what it is, because when you hide it, it kind of begs more questions.
Janet,
so
how was he hiding it? He did it right in front of you. He did it. He walked right in front of you and did it. He was not hiding it. Then when you asked him about it, he said, I was drunk. Where's the hiding? These
so
people
Nia's
are
like,
making me crazy.
So Nia's like, Brittany knows I support her and I'm not sitting here having fun talking about Jackson like all that he's doing. And Danny's like, well, we could all do that every day, every single day. Let me finish my sentence. We're not trying to do that, Daniel. Let me finish the sentence. He's like, okay, I'm not your enemy. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Let me finish my sentence. Okay. I'm not sitting here trying to talk bad about Jax. I'm sitting here trying to support my friend. And if I, for some reason, have a problem with her, I'm like, hey, Brittany, this is how I'm feeling, you know? I don't just wait till she walks away from the table.
So she's saying, you know, Daniel and I are more reserved and we're a team and we watch out for each other and protect each other and we don't air our dirty laundry and we have those conversations behind closed doors because that's what you're supposed to do when you're married. And so he comforts her. And then, meanwhile, Janet is still like, I mean, I also feel like we need to all be like, hey, if you're going through some stuff with alcoholic drug addict Daniel because of his alcohol and drug drinking behavior, we're also here for you because it's hard being with a drug addict alcoholic. Am I right, girls? Am I right?
So they're like, yeah. So now night turns to day. It's the morning, and we see, as usual, because it's a party. It's a night of partying on Bravo. There's just shit out everywhere. Because I firmly believe the producers tell everyone not to clean up, so that way they can always get these shots of flies crawling all over pizza and over empty cups, etc. So Kristen's like, Luke, seriously, Luke, I'm dehydrated. So he brings her coffee and she's like, oh, seriously. And then, then everyone's just like waking up and talking. And Michelle is back. We haven't seen Michelle all episode. And she's like, well, how are you feeling after last night, Brittany? I don't know exactly what happened, but I heard lots of things happening. Where did she go? Why did she miss this all?
She got mad and went to bed, I guess.
So.
Then basically they pack up and leave. So that's that. So they go and Zach's like, this trip is a real train wreck. It looks like that healing ceremony might have to happen again. Did you guys get that? Do you need another take? It's going to be good. It's going to be my first gift.
Yeah. So now we go over to Runyon Canyon, where the famous Runyon Canyon, where all of Michelle's illicit affairs happen. So, but this time she's meeting up with none other. She's not meeting up with a honey magnate. She's meeting up with the one and only Sheena Marie, who is making her debut, or at least this season's debut, on The Valley. I think she actually was on last season too.
Oh my God, Michelle, you want to hike Running Canyon? It's going to be really fun. It's been a really hard week for me because of the Masked Singer, because like I wanted to go farther, but I told them I didn't want to go farther. So I didn't go farther, but I could have gone farther, but I told them I didn't want to. So they kicked me off, but it was totally by my choice. But then I really wanted to after. So it's really been a rough time after the Masked Singer, because that was going to be like my big break. But like people are still huge fans of me. So corner.
Over the last couple of years, Sheena and I have become really close. For the longest time, I thought she was one of those little robots from Postmates that brings you a burrito. And then I realized, wait a second, she's actually a human being. And then we began to talk and have a fun time together.
Gina has gone through a divorce, so she understands how difficult it could be at times. She is a really good person. So they're talking about Aaron, and Aaron's like, listen, I want out of this relationship if your ex is going to be crazy for the rest of my fucking life. Like, I don't know if I can take this. I don't know if I need this toxicity forever. I'm trying to sell cocaine-themed honey. Okay?
Yeah, everything was perfect, but then after this trip, Aaron was scared. He doesn't want a crazy ex in my life. And he said, look, I understand I'm the guy with the crazy eyes. And if even I am weirded out by someone, that's a problem. So yeah, back to square one.
Wow, I am so sorry. That's almost as bad if you were on The Masked Singer and you thought you were going to go really far, but you said you didn't want to go really far, and then they kicked you off The Masked Singer, and you're like, but wait, I changed my mind.
It's like, yes, it has been so much negativity, you know, like Jesse has major issues. That is why I loved him for Rob Reiner. And so Michelle's pissed that this could be the end. And so she's like, the thought of breaking up with Aaron, other than Isabella, is like, that is what's getting me through this rough time, you know? So she doesn't want to lose the honey man over all of this toxicity. And that doesn't mean she's going to be less toxic.
But does this...
Hopefully it'll work out.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
But here's the thing, like, if he's not willing to stand by your side during this situation with Jesse, then maybe he's actually not the man for you in the first place. I just want to put that out there.
Maybe, but I mean, for me, I wouldn't think it's unrealistic to be like, okay, you're broken up. You need to stop having toxic fights with your ex.
It's not unrealistic.
I can't deal with that, you know?
It's not unrealistic, but I still think that, like, I still think that, like, what she needs is someone who's just gonna, like, be supporting her, because I think Jessie is a nightmare, and I think that she's like, what I don't like is her being like, I need to work hard, I need to save this. She's putting it all on her shoulders, and it's like, what also, like, he could also be supportive of you too.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it as Michelle, you know, Jesse's a piece of shit, and I'm glad she left Jesse. And we see more Jesse scenes that just every time we see a Jesse scene, it cements what a piece of shit that guy is. So I'm glad she left him for her kid and stuff like that. But then you see like her still going on group trips and then starting stuff about, I don't like who you're dating, when she's been dating someone since, you know, there's some hypocritical stuff going on with her too. Like she wants to tell him who he can date and who he can't date. And you can't do that. Like you can't sit there and have toxic fights about whoever his girlfriend is when you've had a boyfriend too the same amount of time that you're subjecting the kid to. So I think part of it is just like, keep me away from this toxic fighting constantly. Like I want to have a decent, positive life. Like let him do what he's going to do and we'll do what we're going to do.
I mean, hey, I wouldn't want to date someone in that sort of situation by any means. But I just think that like I get like when the moment she's starting to talk about like, ooh, like I need to like start to change things for this guy. I'm like, ooh, just don't fall into that same pattern that you got into with Jesse, you know? So Sheena's like, yeah,
Well, at
you
least it
can't
would
lose
be a
him.
positive thing to change. It's like changing toxic fighting. So at least it's a good thing to change. It's not like he's like, I wish you would get a different haircut. He's just asking for less toxic fighting. But I don't know. Why am I sticking up for the honey man? Like the guy's fucking selling his honey at the entrance of Runyon Canyon. I don't know that that's a relationship I should be rooting for. No offense, honey sellers at the bottom of Runyon Canyon.
You know who she needs? She needs a real man like Rob Reiner. So now we go to Jesse's house where his life coach, Scott, shows up. And Scott, when I see this guy, I just think, wow, all the marriages this guy has really done a great job saving. I'm sure this is a man who really understands things.
I see him and I'm like, oh my God, men's rights are being taken away. I'm glad there's someone here to fight for it.
Right. It's good to see that some of Joe Rogan's fans have made it onto Bravo.
I can guarantee you this guy has a truck with a black and white flag on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jesse's like, Scott, the marriage coach that Michelle and I worked with last summer. Yeah, well,
isn't that enough to get you fired? I mean, seriously, like how are you having him back? I think he failed.
Yeah, not a great record here. He's like, well, I've leaned on him quite a bit and continued to work with him still to today. I'm like, yeah, the scoreboard's not looking great for this guy based on the marriage failure and your personal failures that we're seeing documented on television.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm so mad at myself since Santa Barbara. I want to know, why am I being triggered so easily? You're not the one being triggered. You're the one calling your wife a whore.
Yeah.
Sir.
He throws the stone and then is shocked when someone actually retaliates. What? That's crazy. So cast the stone and hides his hands. Is that the phrase? So he's saying, what I realized on this trip is that when I was going through the grief of divorce, which I never actually went through, but I like to tell people I did it. I never went through the grief of like, did I win or did I fail? I was thinking about that on the trip. It's just another thing that I bury down. It's like Michelle admitted that she cheated on me, by the way. And we see the clip of Michelle being like, I kissed a guy and I liked it. And that's basically it. It's like, she was cheating on me, having orgies for 2 years. Yeah, she admitted all that.
Yeah. And then this is, I think, a very bad trait for a therapist. First of all, to take sides, but also to just believe everything at face value that he's telling you. He's like, oh, exactly. She cheated for 2 years? Really? So, and he's like, yeah. And she said, well, there's no way that I wasn't cheating for 2 years because, I was out all the time. And Scott's like, well, that's projection on her part, And he's like, yeah, but, then it turns me into the cheater. Like she's projecting on me, And then the main guy, the therapist guy is like, yeah, but, when you say you're a whore and this and that makes you bad. So the actual thing is that you're hurt because she was cheating for 2 years, but then she projects back onto you. And then you saying that made you the bad guy when really she was the bad guy for cheating for 2 years. You don't even know what's been going on in this marriage, Scott.
This guy's basically saying she manipulated the situation to make you look like the bad guy here. It's like totally absolving Jesse of any like responsibility for the words that actually come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And for pushing her.
Yeah, so she manipulated you into making you look like a jerk. It's kind of a brilliant play on her part. Women, squirrely women. So here's what you got to do. Your life, you got to recognize your life is a garden and your attention is water. And you're planting seeds all the time with your actions. And your attention is water. Get out of my house. First of all, we're in a drought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even fucking water the grass. Like, get out of my house. Stop talking about water in here, sir.
Yeah.
Go back into your truck and your black and white flag and your men's rights.
And I can tell you one thing. I do not water the weeds that grow in my garden, and yet they still grow, and they grow more than the flowers. So this whole metaphor is bullshit in the first place.
Yeah, Jesse's the weed. He doesn't need water. So he's like, whatever you put your attention on will inevitably grow. That's not true. Or my penis would be 13 feet long.
You got to hold yourself
more
accountable.
Attention than anything I do and nothing.
So then Scott goes, you got to hold yourself accountable. And by hold yourself accountable, just remember that Michelle manipulated into saying everything bad that you've ever said.
Exactly.
No more acting like a dick unless Michelle makes you act that way, okay? And no more being self-important unless Michelle does that to you, okay? So here's a pillow. I want you to scream into it. And remember, the louder you scream, the more Michelle made you do it.
Yeah. Are we supposed to believe that Jesse, a male model from the 90s, hasn't screamed into a pillow before? Okay, I'll go with it. So he does it, and he's like, I feel better. I feel better, actually. God, just hold it there and push down harder.
Right.
Hey, Scott, help him. Help him while you're there. Just keep that pillow right where it is and just push.
Well, notably, Scott says, when people scream into a pillow, they either cry or they laugh. And
Or
notably,
come.
Jesse did... or come. Notably, Jesse did none of the above, including the coming, which just proves that he is a true sociopath.
Truly, that's what I thought too. When he did it, he's like, you're probably going to cry right now, man. And then he screams, and then he's like, I feel great. You're a sociopath.
So now we go to Kristen and Luke moving into their new home in North Hollywood. I really liked their house that they moved into. It's a rental. And Kristen's like, Luke and I are so excited to move into this beautiful house. We have a pool. We have 3 bedrooms. We have a dedicated room to listen to Stevie Nicks. We have our own master bedroom too. And we have a guest room for Jill. God, that needy dog. I love her so much, but she pukes everywhere.
So they're planning on where they're going to put the daybed. Stuff like that. And then Jasmine comes over and they're sitting at the pool. So Jasmine comes out and she's like, oh, I knew waking up, like Danny and Nia, they're not going to ride with me, like, because she's pissed off or something. But like, maybe I should apologize to her because, I did feel kind of bad. And Luke's like, yeah, everyone's drunk. So like, I don't get it. Like, why does he have to say he's drunk? And Kristen's like, yeah, he was tired. Come on.
I don't know. Maybe he was tired. That's fine. I'm just like, he's a voice actor. Can he really be that tired? I'm sorry. You stand in a booth all day and you talk. How tired can you be? Like you did Ursula, take your voice, because I'm confused. Like, what's going on here? Like, as someone who does talk for a few hours every day on this podcast, I'm tired.
I'm tired. What do you do? Do we know what Jasmine does?
I have no idea what Jasmine does, to be honest. I think she just motors around and shoots scenes with people on reality shows.
Listen, here's my thing. Anything that requires you to get out of bed for a certain amount of time a day is tiring. That's it. I don't care if I just went to the Home Goods and got a lunch. I'm still tired. I need a nap. Like, who are you to tell me when I can be tired?
By the way, let's not discount the drive up to Santa Barbara. Even if he did nothing that day and just made that drive on the 101 from whatever cramped ass apartment he's in all the way up to this mansion.
Now.
It's a long time. With traffic, it's exhausting. You got to go by Agora Hills. You got to go down that slope. Got to go by Camarillo. You look at that in and out. It's a lot to take in, a lot to deal with.
So she's like, well, the problem here is that, like, why can't you just say he's fucked up? She did say he was fucked up. Okay. So then she's saying, I'm triggered because of Halloween. Okay. So talk about that. And then she talks about how when you're in a gay relationship, it's much harder because people see 2 chicks at the bar and they're like, oh yeah, that's hot. It's like they look at it as their like porn experience and they're like, oh yeah, go touch the lesbians. They want it, which I think she's, I can see that. And, she's like, if it was Janet and you did this shit to Jason, oh man, that would have been a fight. Like, who knows? But like, why can Danny get away with it?
Right, because the reason it was brought up again is because it's kind of like it's like a platform. Yeah, but seriously, we were talking about this last night, and I was thinking to myself, like, if it were exactly the same situation, Luke had to leave, like he had to go to work and had to drive back, and then he had to go to a winery, and then decide to do some shots, and he was like super tired. And if you guys were like, wait, where did Luke go? I'd be like, he's tired. He went to bed. Case closed. Mariposa Court is adjourned.
And Luke's like, since when does it matter if someone gets drunk in this group? Like, what's the big deal? And they're like, yeah, everybody was drinking. So Jasmine's like, okay. Well, look. I feel bad that Nia cried. She was basically on a platter of a slaughter, and so that was sad. And I didn't want her to cry because, like, we're all better than that, but it happened. So we'll talk maybe. So then they go swimming. And
they had this like really funny moment where Luke is like, look, this is a nice conversation. It's hot as balls out here. Let's go swimming. And then they change it. They like, it cuts to them in their bathing suits and they like jump into the pool and this like 60s font comes up and goes, the valley. And it just goes to commercial. It was such a bizarre little, like, the post-production's bored and wants to do something fun with their effects right now moment. And by the way,
let's have a wacky little jaunt in between discussing alcoholism.
I know. By the way, let's talk about also Jill. Jill was really trying to have some, really trying to steal the spotlight in the scene. Every time Jasmine was like having a moment to talk, and Jasmine's really been like absent for most of this season. She's finally having a storyline and she's finally getting to talk. And then in comes Jill just walking in, trying to literally step in front of Jasmine on the camera. Jill, you have to settle down. Okay. Just hang out by the side. You're not a main character on the show. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah. Jill, calm down, Jill.
You just relax, Jill. Okay, you got a new house. You got a yard now. What else do you want? They do all these things for you. You don't have to steal Jasmine's moment.
So then we go to Luke and Danny going ring shopping at Kyle Jan.
Yeah.
Where else
First
would
we
they
get
go?
Sheena. Yeah, nowhere. There's no other jeweler. We have Sheena
Kyle
first.
Chan's like, hi,
Kyle
everybody.
Chan's back.
Welcome to the store. Hope everybody's being kind to Tom Sandoval today. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the rings.
Yeah, so Luke and Danny are looking at rings and everything, and they're like, they're just looking at rings, and Luke's
We
like,
don't have enough
Kristen?
men standing up for shitty, toxic asshole dudes. Let's bring in Kyle Chan, okay? Need some support.
Yeah, so Kyle Chan pours him some drinks. Kristen told Luke, by no means should you pay more than $10,000 for this ring, but this one's $14,000, so he's going to do it. He's going to violate her wishes to get her a nicer ring.
Yeah, it's 14, but it's got the Kyle Chan discount attached. So let's see. True. And Danny's like, well, that's a statement ring right there. That's what you're getting. You're getting a statement, bro. They kept entering into evidence this Danny laugh. And it would be echoing over them even talking. He'd be like, this is a statement. And the laugh would keep going while he's saying his next line. They're like, just keep the laugh. The audience loves the laugh. Keep it.
Well, they especially needed to enter the laugh into evidence, considering that later on in the episode, Nia basically commands him to stop laughing, and seeing how pained he is to not be able to do his signature laugh, he he goes into an existential spiral. So here he's just like, oh, it looks like a pretty nice little drinky board there, Kyle Chan.
So the producer's like, so when did you realize Kristen was the one? Because you've been a little waffly on, getting married and stuff. And he's like, well, we had to take a road trip with 4 dogs all the way to Montana, and she did it. So I was like, wow, if a woman will get in a small car with 4 dogs and me and make it all the way to Montana, that's the chick I'm going to marry. And I was like, Luke is the most sensible person on this show, because I think that's the best test of a marriage. Just drive with someone for a long way in extremely annoying circumstances and see if they're still down to stop at the Buc-ee's,
Yeah.
Hey, we can just leave the air conditioner on for the dogs. Let's go in there. They've got fudge.
Kristen's like, and I know he was the one when we went on that road trip and I made him listen to Rhiannon on repeat the entire way. Rhiannon.
So he picks out the ring and he's like, are you going to pay for me? Dan's like, I was going to. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding.
Hey everyone, this is the end of part 1 of this recap. For part 2, keep an eye on your podcast feed. It is coming up in just a moment. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you on the second half. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King. It's always a party on Allison Block.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster.
She can run my country. It's Angie McGovern.
It's always automatic with Ashley Otto. Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offit.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. It's
Satchels.
We never miss her call. It's Diane Call.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo. Jamie, she has no last namey.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us. It's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry. We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell, it's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. Let's share with Sharon Eldridge. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
It's our queen, it's Queen Laifah.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Hail the cork master, the master of the cork, Jennifer Corcoran. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony, Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
She gets an A, it's Kelly B.
We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose. We're on the floor with Molly Dorset. There's a chance of meatballs, it's Rebecca Cloud.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
It's always a good time when you're wasting time with Bravo.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.